Hello, welcome back to the channel. Well, I just want to start this off with a couple of what I want to call housekeeping. First off, if you were actually wanting to hold off on getting the Nintendo Switch 2, or maybe you just didn't have enough money, or maybe you were unlucky enough so that you couldn't find any stock available at the local stores, GameStop has actually released an announcement saying that they are getting restocks for the consoles. And this time, staples will not be included. Now, for those that don't understand the reference, there was actually a store in Staten Island, New York, that was actually stapling the receipts onto the boxes. So when the customers got home and opened the boxes to their brand new Switch 2 that they spent so much money on getting, the screens had staples through them, and so they were ruined. So the customers actually were able to all take them back to the GameStop and not get them fixed, but they got them replaced. And it's kind of good to see that GameStop is at least good sports and have a sense of humor about it. Now, I would actually like to start off by saying thank you for everyone that has watched the videos, that's liked and subscribed to the channel. And if you could please share it to some friends and make sure that you subscribe so that I can help just to get my reach, to get my videos out there a little bit more. Currently, I'm sitting at 13 subscribers, and my goal is to actually reach to almost double that to 25. So if you could just please help me to get there, I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, let's just get to the video. I would also actually like to start off the video saying that I'm sorry I made a mistake in the previous one. Donkey Kong's companion is not Rosaline, it's Pauline. And I made that mistake because as I was writing my notes, I was watching my daughter play Mario Kart as Rosalina, and I was helping her in between writing, telling her where she to go over there. There's something over there. Why don't you drive over there? And just my brain mixed the two names. So Pauline and Rosaline became, or Rosalina became Rosaline. So, honest mistake. I'm human. I'm going to make them. And if I make any mistakes in the future, I will try to correct them as quickly as I can. So, I just apologize for that bit of misinformation. Now, after the direct, there's actually been not really controversies, but just people, I guess, their grievances, not really liking some of the things that they saw, not about for the gameplay, but they didn't like the fact that Donkey Kong doesn't look the way that they've known Donkey Kong to look. And it's true. Ever since Rare released Donkey Kong Country in 1994, Donkey Kong has basically looked the same, except for some minor tweaks here and there as the games with the consoles and the hardware and everything that's available has made it so that they were able to just tweak him a little bit, but his design basically hasn't changed. And so I understand the whole you've been seeing something the same way for this long time, and now all of a sudden it's changed, and people have issues with it, but it can be a welcome thing. I mean, not every character stays the same throughout their entire lifespan. So, but when I was analyzing it, looking up close, I could see that Nintendo was really wanting to actually show how much difference the hardware on the Nintendo Switch 2 is by showing off the pixels and making it look like so that Donkey Kong's body shows the hair a lot cleaner. And also, they've actually made Donkey Kong a lot more bulkier, like muscular in his shoulders and his pecs. More so, I guess that came in for the clip when you saw him banging on his chest, and Pauline came and she busted out of the rock. So, and then the most notable is the fact that his face is pretty much completely different. He has a much wider, expressive, cartoonish type mouth, and he also has a bunch of black around the eyes. This is just my speculation, but I feel that this Donkey Kong game is actually going to have a story. Just given the fact that you have Pauline and she has lines. So there's going to be a different story other than the other ones where Donkey Kong's bananas get stolen. He has to go back and get the bananas and beat a bunch of people to get them back. So the best way for Donkey Kong to be able to be expressive for a story is through his facial features. And they're able to do that with the black around the eyes, so you be able to more cleanly see when his brow gets furrowed, his eyes go wide, and everything else is in his mouth, if it goes into a grimace or a smile, or to be able to show fear and concern and everything that would come along with the story. I could be wrong. This is just my speculation from what I saw on the direct. But and by looking at the expressions that they had on his face for certain scenes, that's what actually just stood out to me a lot more. And then also the biggest complaint is the fact that where's Diddy? I mean, Diddy and Donkey Kong have been a duo for so long. They've never really shown up without the other, except for, I think, in Donkey Kong Country 2 was when Diddy showed up with Dixie, and then in Donkey Kong Country 3, there wasn't Diddy or Donkey. So, but in every other iteration, they've been together, and now they aren't. But it's not a deal breaker to me. I mean, if you think about it, Mario has had plenty of different companions over the years. So why not Donkey Kong? This could be a welcome addition. Maybe will allow them to make the franchise for Donkey Kong to change it to actually give him different companions. And the third thing was more of a personal thing for me, just a feeling and observation. I don't know. It's like, okay, Nintendo, why did it take you 31 years to give the guy a pair of pants? I mean, he's been doing everything, running around in the wilderness, racing, fighting, and nothing but a necktie. I mean, we give him a hat, give him something. But nope, not until now. And it's like, maybe it was just because of limitations, but it was just something funny that I noticed. And I don't know if you're the same way, but if you can just think about it for a little bit, he's never had clothes except for the necktie. Now, to get on to the review that we have for Mario Kart World. Now, I was already super excited about this game because my family and I play a lot of Mario Kart 8. This, to me, was a 10 out of 10 game. It was the game that kept on giving. Nintendo it almost seemed every time you turned around, they were giving updates for different courses, more characters, and just improvements on the game. And we just really enjoy playing against each other. It's just a leisurely thing that we can do and just kill some time and have some fun playing video games together. And so, first off, when you get this for Mario Kart World, you just look at this cover. I don't see how you can't be excited when you can see all the characters all over the screen in different carts. Trying not to get a glare. And then you see the sky, they're on the ground, and there's actually even someone over here at the far end on the water. It just shows how expansive the Mario Kart world is. And it's true. When I was actually, before I picked it up, I tried to stay away from watching videos of people doing too many of the demos. It's impossible to avoid them all. But I didn't want to have anything ruined. I wanted to come into the game with fresh eyes and experience everything for the first time. And I did that for the most part. The only thing that I came in was I knew about there being 24 characters in the races. And I didn't think that that was too much, but when you start playing, 24 players is a lot because once that race starts, if you don't get that very first turbo, even if you're in first place, you're going all the way back and you might end up at 20th place. And it's kind of hard to come back. I mean, it's not impossible, obviously, because I missed the turbo a lot before I got the timing down. And one thing that they've instituted in this was they made it so that the characters actually draft. So if you are close behind someone, you'll actually see a little wind buffer start coming around your character, and then after 2 seconds, they will get propelled forward, almost like a it's almost like the mushroom, but it doesn't last as long as the mushroom item would last. Let's say if the mushroom lasted 2 seconds, the little draft bonus is for an extra just 1 second. It's almost like half a mushroom, but it's enough to get you forward out of the pack. Also, if you are in the pack, you will be lucky if you happen to get one of the blocks to get an item because someone else is always going to be there right there in front of you to get the block, and it's not going to respawn fast enough before you get there. So you just have to cross your fingers and hope you get the next one. Now, there's it's almost like a lot of the tours, or like Mario Kart 8, the tracks. I mean, obviously they're different because it's a different game, but not just the track where you're actually running around on the road or the path that they have set out for you. There are multiple branches of the path, multiple ways to travel. There are rails that you can grind on. I say grinding, but it's more like you're just tipped up on your wheels and ride the rails. There are alternate shortcuts that are possible for you to take, which I most of the time I found them out not intentionally. I would just kind of drift off the road and like, oh, I'm not off the course. This is another way I can go. But then whenever it was I tried to find them, I'd be like, oh, I wonder if I can go here. Nope, that's off the course. So it was just trial and error for me. And that's for the regular Grand Prix, is like all the other times that you've raced in Mario Kart. Now, the new thing that they've added in was the Knockout Tour, which, like the Grand Prix, but a little bit on steroids, you can say, because instead of being the 4 tracks and trying to come into first place, it's a total of 6 tracks, and every single track has at the finish line a number on it. So if you don't finish within that place, you, like the name implies, knocked out. So you just have to try to survive all the way until for that final course to try to come into first place. Now, something that because I've tried all the different modes, for the versus mode, it's like a Grand Prix, except with from what only noticeable difference that I came up with was the fact that there's teams. Other than that, basically the same. Now the battles were completely different from the battles that we've experienced before. They had the balloon battle, which I went in thinking it was going to be like the regular battles where you're in there and you just try to knock out the balloons to knock the player out of the game, and the last person standing wins. But nope, this one actually, each course that you have actually has a time limit, and it's all 24 people running around the track trying to pop each other's balloons. And it's whoever pops the most balloons at the end of the 3-minute timer wins for that course. Now, the number of balloons that you pop carries on over to the next one. So if you pop 6 in the first course, pop another 6 in the second course, your total points will be 12. And so it does that for the number of courses that you set. And then it actually just adds them all up so that at the end of the final course, whoever has popped the most balloons is the winner, which was pretty interesting. I was not expecting that when I first popped in, and then I saw the course with everyone spaced out all over the place. Um, me, both me and my wife were like, "What is going on?" Because we were expecting like previous iterations where you're just kind of basically be staring at each other across the world with the item blocks to go through and actually start in fighting right away. So that was kind of different. The next one we tried for the battle was Coin Runner, which is like the balloons, but you're going around and just collecting coins. And it keeps the coins from every course until the end. Who's ever has collected the most, that's how the winner is determined. Now, for Mario Kart World, the biggest selling feature for it, in my opinion, is the free roam. The free roam is just you can go anywhere and you're going around and exploring. There is so much to explore, so much to collect. Like every area has hidden peach medallions and question panels that you have to find and run over. And you'll actually see somewhere around the map these little P switches. When you hit a P switch, it initiates a mission that's attached to that P switch for you to try to do. Now, it's good that the fact that you have unlimited retries because I've done, I think I've done 20 missions and I've had to replay at least every single one at least once or twice. Some of them are pretty easy. It'll take you like 1 or 2 tries because you don't know what you're doing for the first time. And then there's some that'll take you like 5 or 6 tries. You just have to get better and better until you actually pass it. But the amount of gameplay and the replayability that the game has, I think makes it worth the $80 that you have to pay for it. Just because of how many hours I know that me and my family are going to be putting into this game playing it. So, I mean, that might not be the same for every person. They might just want to play and beat it and then throw it onto the stack and then go on to another game. But just for me and my family, I feel that it's worth the $80. Now, this this game is, I think it's going to be something special. And do I think it's game of the year? Maybe not, but I think it's going to, I mean, it's already sold a lot of copies. I think from what the last estimate I saw for game sales, that about 80% of all the people that have bought Switch 2s have had Mario Kart World either with the bundle or buying it separately. So I think it's going to be a top seller for Nintendo. And you can tell from just as much as you have in the free roam areas that they put a lot of dedication, a lot of thought and time into developing this game. I don't know how long it was in development, but they put in a lot of work. And I'm expecting a lot more from if they actually do a Mario Kart 9. I don't know if they will. Probably not for a while because of how much they had to actually put into this game and how much they're probably expecting to get out of this game. But I'm really hoping that they'll actually put a lot of updates in here like they did for Mario Kart 8, maybe some additional tracks. But we'll never know. Just find out whenever they decide to announce it. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.